Oh, it's really a good year for spy movies, and Guy Ritchie's The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is one of the reasons for that. We got Kingsman: The Secret Service, we got the Melissa McCarthy comedy Spy, we got the amazing Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and at the end of the year, James Bond returns as Spectre. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is yet another reincarnation of a popular 60s TV series, and like in Mission Impossible, it's all about a fictional secret service agency. Like the TV series, this takes place in the 60s in the middle of the Cold War, and I think it was a very wise decision because it helps the movie to distinguish itself from other spy franchises like Bond or Mission Impossible. This agency is called U.N.C.L.E, but it won't come in place until the end credits roll, because at the beginning, and by the way, we got ourselves a beautiful old school opening credit scene, I love those. Our two main guys are still working for the KGB and CIA. That means they are enemies, and wow, what better way to introduce your characters than by giving us a great exciting action scene right at the start, and one that's not shallow, but one that highlights the characters and has some fun with many different cinematic expressions. There's this very important young girl named Gabby, played by the Swedish actress Alicia Vikander. Wow, the second Swedish actress in a row, because remember in Rogue Nation we got Rebecca Ferguson, who is also from Sweden. Also, like in Rogue Nation and soon in Spectre 2, there's this mysterious criminal organization. And because Gabby is the daughter of a German scientist who worked with the Nazis on building their own atomic bomb, the CIA and KGB must work together to find him and thereby this syndicate. But our two heroes don't know that yet, and each one tries to get his hands on the lady first. Tom Cruise himself declined a chance to star in this one, and we can really be glad about that, because not only did we get a great Mission Impossible movie, but he also cleared the way for Henry Superman Cavill, who now stars in this together with Armie Hammer. And my goodness, are Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer the right man for this movie. Cavill plays the womanizing and always super cool acting American cowboy Napoleon Solo. His rival and later ally is the Russian and sometimes berserker-like KGB agent Ilya Kuryakin. I'm so glad Armie Hammer gets another chance after that god-awful movie Lone Ranger. He's perfect for this. He has the stature, I mean the man looks like a mountain. He's 6'5" tall. Like Cavill too, he gives us a character on the perfect line between the typical stereotype and just relatable enough to care for him and to invest in the action. Cavill and Hammer work great together, they are both so charming, their performances are full of energy, and that's the key word I would apply to the whole movie. Energy. Guy Ritchie hadn't done a movie since his second Sherlock Holmes one 4 years ago, and right from the start you can feel the enjoyment he must have had realizing this project. Like I said before, we start with a great action scene, a long chase through the streets of East Berlin. Cavill and Vikander in one car, Hammer in the other one. Later they continue on foot and then finally by sliding down a rope and, yeah, you may have guessed it, over the wall and into the western side of Germany. Only to find out the next day that it was pretty much for nothing, because now they have to work as a team anyway. What gives this opening and the scenes to come so much energy is Ritchie's way of cutting his visuals to an amazing soundtrack. The sound is a key player throughout the whole movie, sometimes even on the brink of Mickey Mousing. A little bit like Tarantino, but in his own way, Ritchie uses a soundtrack that contains of original material and also some old tracks very prominently. There are moments when he gives us close-ups of an almost exploding Armie Hammer and uses music that makes you instant feel like you were watching an Italian western. And yes, he even uses music from the master himself, Ennio Morricone. It's all very stylized and like Sherlock Holmes and other Guy Ritchie movies before, very cool. Sometimes even a little bit too stylized and too cool for my taste, because I personally could have done without the split screens, but that's only a minor complaint. All in all, the movie is not that action oriented as the opening scene might suggest. There's also a lot of great comedy here that comes from the visual and musical style, the editing, the dialogue and character interaction alike. There are some very suspenseful moments as well, even if the movie doesn't take itself all that seriously. The story has some nice surprises for you and is fortunately quite restrained. A few words to the villains as well. The French actress Elizabeth Debicki does a good job as the beautiful fanatic and head of the crime organization Victoria. But the one you just love to hate is Sylvester Groth. He played Joseph Goebbels in Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, and here again he plays a crazy Nazi, Uncle Rudy. Onkel Rudi. He has the best scene in the movie, and when you watch it, you will know what I meant. I promise you that. For the conclusion, go see The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Even if it has some of the most terrible German since Die Hard. Was zur Hölle war das denn bitte? So what do you thought about the movie? Please tell me in the comments down below, and I promise I will answer to you all.